Hey guys, hello and welcome back to the channel. This is Kay Unscripted. I am your girl Kay, and on this channel we'll talk about all things reality TV. And if you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, thank you for joining me today. Because guys, today we're going to be getting into the Never Ever Met Season 2 Episode 4. This one had me on a roller coaster, but guys, before we get into it, please do me a favor and go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel for more recaps like this, and let's get into it.
Kay Unscripted, no teeth restricted. In this journey, watch our stories unfold.
Start the episode light and shady. Someone's plotting on a caller that's not theirs. It's Jared, of course. He and Charli, they're in the room while Kiki is sleeping, and he says to Charli, would she be mad if I take it? It's not open. And he goes and takes that lady's cola and he drinks it. Now why are you messing with that lady's Coca-Cola? Leave the lady alone. He heads downstairs and he joins Cinco and Chris, and they're chilling in the living room area. And Jared asks them how they're feeling about last night. Remember the night before they were in the backyard, they were talking a whole lot of crap? Yeah, that's what was happening. That was based on the game Jared decided to have, where they found out who would have stayed with their partner if they were deciding on that day. So Chris says, I feel like if our ladies heard what we were saying, we would be in the doghouse. And Cinco's like, y'all would be in the doghouse, not me. So Jared reveals that he placed F no on his paper, and that man said in his confessional, 6 kids in a house is crazy. Now we all know that in the last episode he said that he was just playing along so that he can get to the boom boom room with Charli. Ladies, look out for men like this who will tell you whatever you want to hear until they get some from you. As a matter of fact, they're both doing each other dirty. And so at this point, they deserve each other, and I'm done with this too, okay? Now, Brandon joins them, and he says he felt bad about what happened between him and Kiki, and then he took it right back. Cinco, being the most intelligent out of the group, he says, y'all need to work on communication. He's probably the youngest one out of the men sitting there, but he has more sense than all of them, okay? Over in the kitchen, Jay and Tatiana are talking, and apparently it's Jared and Charli's turn to cook. So they're talking about Clay and Tatiana, and she says that she doesn't care if Clay is vegan. She is vegan, and you'll remember he told her that he doesn't mind turning vegan because he has friends that are also vegan. That's going to come up later, so be on the lookout for that. So she's saying she told him, please, you don't have to do this for me. If you want to eat meat, you're free to do so. So she says that he's the one who wanted to pursue a vegan diet, and now it's seeming like it's a facade. Apparently, she caught him eating beef taquitos and tried to lie about it. I promise you, Tatiana, there's more that he's lying about than some beef taquitos, okay? Anyway, Jay says, well, girl, I made him a sandwich and it was dipped in bacon grease, and that man devoured the sandwich. We even got to see him enjoying the sandwich, rolling his eyes, and he was having a good old time with that sandwich. He's not vegan. And I never understand why in a relationship people tend to change things about themselves to appease their partners. Now, don't get me wrong. If there's something that's causing friction in your relationship, then by all means, something has to give. But things like, I don't like your fashion sense, or let me switch that up, or I don't like your curly hair, and then you have to switch it up to straight hair, superficial things. Next thing you know, you don't even recognize yourself anymore. You're in a relationship and you're unhappy because you have taken away from who you really are. Ladies, and if there are any men watching this video, especially young people, please do not change who you are to please someone. Do not dim your light to allow someone else's light to shine. I remember doing this so many times, trying to dimming my light to make my friends feel good about themselves, or my partner feel less insecure because maybe I'm more attracted I'm more attractive than him, or he feels that I'm more attractive than him, and he doesn't understand why I would want to be with someone who is less attractive. You know, whoever is meant for you will love you and will love every bit of you. Now, please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that if there are attitudes and, certain things that you need to adjust in your relationship, do so. But I'm talking about changing your physical appearance or changing certain things about yourself that make you to make that person feel better. You shouldn't do that. Tatiana feels like she cannot trust Clay now, and she can see herself becoming resentful. And that's what happens when you feel like the other person is being fake or pretending to be a certain type of way when you know they're not being their most authentic self. Now, I never get why people have an issue with their spouse, but they'll go to other people first. Is it me? Because that's what I've been seeing happening this entire episode. Because she's sharing all of those things with Jay and she has not had a conversation with Clay as yet. Am I reading into this too much? Or maybe I'm just different like that because I don't like people in my business. But I guess it's a show and I guess this is how things have to be done. I don't know. Moving on, Jared and Charli, they're having a discussion. She's not feeling like herself, and she tells him that he gives her great balance of being around her and giving her her space. Jared now says that he feels guilty about the things that he said the night before because he has love for Charli. That man didn't say he's in love with Charli. He says he has love for her. That's a huge difference. Now, I don't know if I believe Jared because alcohol gives people the confidence to say what's on their chest. So you meant everything that you said. Don't come now regretting what you said because your intentions are still to just get into the boom boom room with her. He's telling her, oh, I've been telling them, even if we had our little secret, we go deep, and he cannot find words to express the dynamic. They're finishing each other's sentences, and I'm just like, the lies, the lies, the lies, the lies. You're saying whatever you need to say to get in those jeans, and we all know that. He tells her, well, when you're comfortable with us going into the boom boom room, please let me know because I'm waiting. It's on your terms. And she's more thirsty than him, talking about, oh, we should book that room tonight. Girl, have you had the okay from your doctor to get freaky? Have you healed? Because you just had a baby. Are you even ready to be intimate with someone? Child, let's move on. Kiki and Brandon, they finally have a calm, sober sit down, or that lasted for just a minute. Brandon is telling her that he was up in the kitchen cooking for 14 people alone. She's over there drinking. Kiki is going to open her mouth and say, oh, we're literally on a vacation. But she caught herself when she was about to say vacation because she knows she was about to sound crazy. And I'm just like, so that's what it's for you, a vacation? Unless we missed that memo, we thought y'all were supposed to be coming on there to be connecting with each other, not turning up. And at this point, how about we just throw the whole cast away because y'all are not ready? Anyways, he's like, this isn't a vacation. She's saying she has drunk the same amount as everyone else in the house. And now she thinks that he's being controlling and they've never had that issue online. Kiki, baby, you do drink too much. And of course you wouldn't have that issue online because he didn't know how much you drink. He doesn't know. But Brandon, at the same time, the way you're bringing it up to her is also wrong. You're shoving it down her throat. You're suffocating her. You're going about it the wrong way. And why are y'all always having discussions in front of other people? Because literally, Alicia is sitting right there. And they're talking about this entire thing. And then Kiki's like, how about you just mind your business, Brandon? She's frustrated. She's tired of talking about her drinking. Yeah, and if I was Brandon, that would be the end of it for me. Because if I'm sharing a concern with you, whether I'm coming about it the wrong way, you're not going to tell me mind my business. I'll be like, peace out, nice knowing you, enjoy your vacation, vacation over, go back to your home, I'm done. Now let's move on, y'all, because Alicia decides to intervene and she goes inside of the house and tells Brandon, look, I don't know what you're talking about inside of here, but you need to go talk to your girl. I'm just trying to enjoy the pool, but y'all are draining me with all your drama. And I'm just like, no, girl, how is that your business? Well, Brandon gathered her together expeditiously. He told her, let me breathe, and how about you focus on the way you treat your man? Irvin walks straight into the kitchen, into the discussion, and Brandon's like, yo, bro, tell your girl to stay out of my business, okay? And worry about how she treats you. Irvin said, all right, I'll talk to her. So Irvin pulls up on Alicia and asks her what happened, and she says, I don't know. He's like, I feel like you're causing issues. Mind you, they're not giving each other any type of eye contact. And I don't blame him, because he's probably scared that Alicia is going to tell him, you're watching me aggressively. So anyway, y'all, she's like, oh, all I've been doing today is minding my business. And he says, well, how do you mind your business and still make comments on these people's business? So she finally admits that she did tell Brandon to go talk to Kiki. And he says, you should have just mind your business. Y'all, Alicia was rolling her eyes and doing all type of faces, saying that he's trying to reprimand her. He changes his seat and he's facing her at this point and he's telling her, listen, as your man, I want to protect you from certain things. And she's like, I'm not taking accountability for anything else. And she starts speaking in tongues. She has shut down. She's doing the absolute most. And he's like, girl, you stop, you need to stop. And Alicia is saying that she feels misunderstood and how she's catching heat when everybody's telling their business in front of her. And girl, because they're telling their business in front of you, you feel like you should butt in. Now, I already told y'all I am not commenting on these two. They're both weird. They don't like each other. But what do y'all think? In this situation, are you on Alicia's side or Irvin's side? Please let me know what you're thinking. So Dr. Ali had to be called in to meet with Kiki and Brandon. This is how serious this thing has gotten between them. She introduces herself and asks them to catch her up. So Kiki's like, well, Brandon, since you have the problem, you speak. She's tired, she's done, she's over it. So Brandon tells us how he has trauma from seeing alcohol ruin families and homes, and that was because his mom's ex-husband was always drunk and he doesn't want that for them. He says that they divorced because of the alcoholism, and he's trying to show care for not just Kiki but her body also, and not have the alcohol control her. So Kiki says she understands the trauma he has, but he's judging her because he's scared. She's not his stepfather. So Kiki says they're in a high stress environment and it's kind of like a vacation to her. I don't know why she keeps saying that, but she says that she's a social drinker. So Dr. Ali asks them, well, how many drinks do you think is enough? Brandon says he thinks 3 drinks are enough. And so Kiki's like, well, I can handle my liquor, so 2 or 3 drinks and 2 or 3 shots. And, not all, and 2 or 3 drinks and 2 or 3 shots. So 6 or 7 drinks, as Dr. Ali said. So Dr. Ali says, well, 4 drinks is actually considered binge drinking according to, the health institution or whatever. And it's slightly less for women. Brandon is looking stressed as hell when she says that. So Dr. Ali asks Kiki if she's always drank this much. And she's like, well, it's only started about a year ago. After losing her mom, her drinking has increased. Now, I already touched on this. If you missed out on this part, please, guys, please go check out my last recap on episode 3, where I share in detail how loss affects you. As a matter of fact, I just want to take a moment to shout out everyone who's lost their mom or any parent, a child, or a loved one. You're really just trying to adjust to life without that person. As a matter of fact, tomorrow is going to be the 2-year anniversary for my mom's passing, and I don't even know how I'm going to get through the day. But you know what? I know I'm not the only one dealing with this. So I just want to encourage anyone who's battling with their grief or even just trying to figure out life after losing a loved one. Just keep going, keep moving on. Even if the steps are small, you're going to get it. Just take it one day at a time. Everything is going to be okay. Oh my God, I'm getting so emotional. Grief is really hard. There's no time frame for grief. You just adjust to life without that person. Kiki shares how her mom was her best friend, and I love how Dr. Ali shared that she lost her dad too. And she pretty much tells Kiki that she is self-medicating and alcohol has become a coping mechanism to her. She also tells Brandon that when someone has anxiety and trauma, they tend to over control. She also tells him that his concerns are valid and Kiki does need to be a little bit more aware of how much she drinks. So she sends him back to the house and she holds Kiki back to chat. And Dr. Ali asks her, well, how are you doing? And she says she's starting to feel lonely because the past couple of days have been a lot and they're just not meshing in the house. And she's like, well, I get the feeling that you're holding something back. And she says the way she feels now with Brandon is the way her ex made her feel, and she refuses to be in that type of relationship again. She shared that she was engaged to this man. They were together for 8 years and thought she was about to be living the dream, but he cheated on her with multiple people. Child, she said they've been broken up for 4 months. Last I checked, she and Brandon had been talking to each other for 4 years. Girl, the math ain't mathing. What now? She's now scared to tell Brandon, but she's tired of holding on to that secret. Any more secrets in the house? Please let me know. This is the moment to share all of your secrets because I'm about tired of this entire house and all of their secrets. So things have been so tense in the house. It's now date night. Jared is just ready to get back home to smash. Tatiana is still upset with Clay for being a fake vegan. And then Kiki and Brandon are talking about the day. And so Kiki says she's glad that they had a mediator and that really helped her to see his point of view. And he says communication is key. So by the way, I took a shot. And she's like, I'm happy you actually took a shot. So they're heading to the place to play mini golf and everybody's just ready to have a good time. But come to think of it, I don't think I've seen any of these couples giving each other maybe just a little peck or hug or nothing. I haven't seen any kind of intimacy in that level with any of these couples. But anyway, they're about to play mini golf. They toast to having a good time and everyone's vibing and having a good old time. Brittany is starting to feel like Ty isn't giving her any attention and she's annoyed. This is just a build-up waiting to happen. Tatiana, she finally confronts Clay about eating meat when he told her he ate vegan, and he says, well, I can eat what I want. And she says, yeah, you can, but stop lying about it. So Stinko steps in and says, bro, just apologize for lying about eating meat. That's all she wants. And like I said, he might be the youngest one in the group with the men, but he's the most intelligent one. But he's like, oh, but you don't know the intentions. Boy, what intentions? For eating meat? So then she's like, you just be lying. And he's like, well, you want to go home and be done with the night? She says, well, you could do what you want. You're an adult. You can make your own decisions. That man say, baby, I don't got to lie to you. Clay, you've been lying about how you're going to tell her about that secret, baby. So don't start saying you haven't been lying. You've been lying. She's like, well, you created this whole thing. I've never asked you to be a vegan. You volunteered to be a vegan. And now you're lying in my face. Now you want peace? He's like, so you're going to keep talking with your hands like that? And she said, I'll do whatever the hell I want. Who are you to tell me what to do? What you're not going to do is to tell me what I can and cannot do. Okay, I think I went a little bit too far. She didn't say all that. But I bet you that's what she wanted to say. But she's right. Clay, go sit the hell down. You're doing too much. So it's safe to say that date night was a mess. It wasn't giving what it was supposed to give. Everyone was just tired, bothered, and irritated, okay? Charli and Jared, they head over to the boom boom room while the other couples start getting ready for bed. They don't kick the camera crew out of the room because they're just ready to get it in, and I'm just concerned about Charli because anyways, that's not my business. But of course, they tell us that they did the do, okay? Alicia is in the room with Tatiana and Alexis, and I must say, Alexis, round of applause because girl, you've been on your best behavior. I applaud you. But Alicia is in there saying it's toxic, it's toxic, it's toxic. And apparently Irving called her weird because she smiled. I don't know. I wasn't there. Alicia tends to flip the story, so I don't even know. Alexis says something is wrong with this man. We need to call on a preacher. No, don't call the preacher. They just need to wrap this up and send everybody home. Claire and Tatiana, it's the next day. They're having breakfast and they're sitting together. He finally apologizes to her for sneaking around to eat meat. She forgives him and they decide to move on. He says he's been open and honest with her, and I don't know why he's saying that because he still hasn't shared with her that he has a 2-month-old baby. He's thinking of being strategic in the way he shares that information with her, and she's literally telling him to his face, I cannot deal with someone who lies or someone who is a compulsive liar, someone who's lying for sport, because that would be the end of it for me. Yet you're sitting there in that lady's face, still holding on to the fact that you have a 2-month-old baby. Let's move on, child. So Brittany's in the pool. Ty is being his usual hype self. He's grilling and he's like, oh, take me to the boom boom room. And she's like, it's not gonna happen. Not today. Not ever. She is so turned off by Ty, and she's telling Alicia how he said he was going to cook breakfast for me, he was going to cook lunch for me, he was going to do all of these things, and he has never done it, not once. She feels like he's not paying attention to her, so he's sitting there with Irving, and he's going to refer to his girlfriend as old girl. So he's telling Irving, oh, I was cooking the food and old girl gonna ask me to prepare a drink for her. And she's like, you know I can hear you, right? And he's like, well, you could hear me all you want. He starts going off on her. So I'm cooking and doing all this and you still want me to serve you? So she's like, you don't ask me if I need anything. You just do your own thing. I've asked you to cook me breakfast or lunch. You don't do it. You haven't done anything for me. You haven't done anything that you said you were going to do. She walks away and he's saying that he feels slighted in his confessional and he feels unappreciated and he's starting to wonder if this is who she is. And honestly, I don't even know what to say about these two, but I will say that if people are honest about what they're feeling in the moment to their spouse, a lot of these issues won't be happening. Stop going to another person venting about your issue with your significant other. Instead, go to your person and let them know what you're feeling. Brittany had a build-up of feeling unappreciated by Ty. He is also feeling the same thing. So instead of y'all just talking to other people about what's going on in your relationship, y'all really need to work on communication and sitting with each other, not other people, each other, and discuss what's really happening in the relationship. At this point, everybody just needs to breathe and relax. Matter of fact, just send everybody home. This is a mess. But that's all for this recap on the Never Ever Met Season 2, Episode 4. If you stuck around till the end, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like this video, share it with a friend, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!
Kay Unscripted, no teeth restricted in this journey.